I hate this fucking bullshit that Blizzard is doing.
And by Blizzard, I mean Activision Blizzard.
A small number of Blizzard staff did an umbrella protest at the statue.
Blizzard messed up.
Blizzard has to round up millions of migrant Muslims.
Oh my god, Blizzard. Blizzard Entertainment.
Blizzard.
Big news for Blizzard.
Blizzard's response.
Blizzard.
Blizzard.
Why, Blizzard? Why are you doing this to me?
They're here.
I am hiding from Blizzard. Hey guys, Railmoose here, or as many of you may know me, Brando Blizz, former Roblox staff member and now officially former Blizzard staff member. Now, yes, it is official that I have finally left my employment at Blizzard Entertainment. There are some obvious reasons for me leaving the company, as you may have expected, but there's also some not so obvious reasons that, as an outsider, might not exactly be brought to the foreground for you to necessarily think of or comprehend. That being said, as far as me looking Amish, being down in this lair, that's a result of me hiding from Blizzard, so apologies for any concerns or questions on that. Now, that being said, let's just get into the reasons right off the bat as to why I left Blizzard. Right off the bat, obviously you guys know about the Blitz Chan situation, his whole little Hearthstone China dilemma. Nobody cares about that. Old news, whatever. But something you may not have known is that there is supposedly, and I say supposedly because this is a rumor, something behind the scenes, not trying to catch a defamation case for this fucking video, but that there is supposedly a contract between Blizzard and China that for every new subscriber World of Warcraft gets from the region of China, Xi Jinping actually gets to kiss one of Michael Morhaim's female family members on the mouth once per new sub. Now, that wasn't the main reason I quit. It was just like an interesting rumor that went around the office. Not positive on it, but it made me a little uncomfortable working in the same office as this guy where I can like see through his blinds and like sometimes occasionally make eye contact with him. And there's one time talking to him where like I thought maybe he was almost suggesting that like he wanted me to kiss his family members once, and it just seems weird. Like maybe that's just what he's into. I don't know, but I couldn't handle sitting in that same environment, that same energy, you know, flowing through the air in there. Just a lot of wanting dudes to kiss your family. I don't know. It just made me uncomfortable. Now, my position at Blizzard was a bit of a variety job. I worked behind the scenes on mostly World of Warcraft and Overwatch. A little bit of Hearthstone. Here's the Storm, no one gives a shit about, so they had like one guy working on that game. And StarCraft 2 is for boomers, and I'm not over 40, so I wasn't qualified to work on StarCraft 2. Now, World of Warcraft, lots can be said about it. It's its own can of worms. From the contract allegations to suspicion that within the coding, there's like subliminal messages being portrayed through gameplay that causes streamers like Asmongold to go bald over time. It's causing their cells to physically work against them and make them bald. I just really didn't feel good supporting and helping a game that's, you know, causing people hair loss by the day. The final straw that really got me to quit working on World of Warcraft so much and switch my interests over to their Overwatch team was I don't want to say this is a definite thing, take this with a grain of salt. I don't know what my contract completely allows me to say, but there may or may not have been mandatory ERP sessions after every board meeting with the employees in the office on Moonguard's server in the Goldshire location. If you're not familiar with Goldshire on the server Moonguard, it is essentially a quarter of the server's population in one big sex pool in the tavern of Goldshire. And now at first that may seem like, you know, kind of funny, like, ooh, good joke. I've went on when I was a younger man and said, you know, let's go fuck with these erotic role players on Moonguard. And it was funny. We had some laughs. Oh, haha, that Draenei has a dick and it's a girl. Whatever, that's funny. But if this is true, I would feel personally uncomfortable being forced into a situation like that. I can only imagine someone like Ian Hazukosta saying something like, come fuck this big girl Draenei dick. And I couldn't personally handle that. Like, I would never want to see that whispered into my little game bar in my chat. So, you know, knowing that may or may not be true, pretty much cut my interest on World of Warcraft out right there. So from there, I, you know, packed up my office desk, I grabbed all my stuff, started walking into the next apartment, which I believed was the Overwatch one. I accidentally walked into the Heroes of the Storm office, and it was weird. It's just this big empty room with one cubicle, and I walk up to the guy, and there's just like Sylvanas Rule 34 all over his fucking desktop, and I was like, is this the Overwatch department? And he like turns around, and he was like foaming out of his mouth and started barking at me. So then I walked out of there, fuck Heroes of the Storm. I walked into the Overwatch department, and I began my employment there. Now, when I first started working on Overwatch, I was mostly doing a lot of backstory writing, establishing lore among characters. And you guys all know about, you know, Blizzard has a little bit of controversy going with how they like force diversity on their characters. Characters that have already been established, it seemed like kind of a, you know, social justice, get with the times move to just be like, oh, this character is a fucking gay, this character's, you know, retarded, or it walks with it's bow-legged. Who cares, right? But the problem with that for me mostly, I'm all for diversity. It's that the characters are not actually what they're portraying them as. I actually helped write diversity into some of these characters very much early on, and I can tell you facts about these characters that Blizzard really hasn't released or they cut after I quit the job. But there's a lot more to these characters than you probably realize. For one, this one's maybe a little obvious, maybe it doesn't need to be established. Winston's a furry. So if you didn't realize that, I don't know how you looked over that one, but that's something apparently not a lot of people know. Winston is in fact a furry. Another thing that they tried to establish is that Diva is some gamer girl, and that's why she's operating this big fucking wonky mech, because she's just a fucking quirky gamer girl. No! Diva's in that machine because she has cerebral palsy and she can't fucking move outside of it. So all the cosplays, this girl you're fucking jerking off to. Imagine Walt Jr. from Breaking Bad going, "You're being such a pussy." That's what you're jerking off to. Cerebral palsy Diva. That's why she's in a mech. Everyone thinks Tracer's a lesbian. Tracer is not a lesbian. So boys, maybe get your hopes up. I don't know. She doesn't like coochie. I have seen plenty of, animated GIFs, MP4s of Tracer being fucking rammed in the ass by, like, Winston, fucking cowboy guy, and, fucking Zara, too, who, by the way, is a transgender. Zara is a male-to-female transgender. That one was pretty obvious, too, I think. The last one, this one might irritate people. He's been halfly spoken true and halfly not. Soldier 76 is gay, but he's mostly bi, in the sense that he doesn't really care what gender you are, because Soldier 76's thing is that he's a pedophile. He doesn't really care about gender, it's just you have to be under, 12. Soldier 76 is, though, in fact, a pedophile. Honestly, after, saying all this, most of the trailers and, footage and, just seeing models or doing quick Google searches, you can see a lot of these characters are pretty obvious in their, hidden attributes, their backstories, their lore. It's just how they were presented by Blizzard seems a bit dishonest, and, not everyone thinks of these things. So, yeah, they do have a very diverse cast, but they're not being completely black and white about how diverse and in what ways they are diverse. The final reasons why I left Blizzard is a lot of leaked information that went around the office about the future of the company and what directions they wanted to take their games. So this is, you're hearing it here first, as this is information being leaked straight from the office that isn't going to be found anywhere else. You guys are getting the first look inside basically the next Overwatch character and the next World of Warcraft expansion. Now, the next Overwatch character is kind of funny because it's weird how it seems like Blizzard's basically trying to get into the pockets of politicians around the world, well, mostly China and America. But the next character being added into Overwatch is literally the physical, digital embodiment of Obama. So you know how they had like Ronda Rousey in fucking Mortal Kombat. They had Jeremy Renner's retarded brother as Buck in Halo fucking 32. This is genuinely like graphically created Obama. He like apparently stood in a machine for like 2 days just being fed through an IV while they took pictures of his pores and stuff. And like Obama is the next Overwatch character. I don't know what he'll be. Rumors have it he's gonna be like a Mongolian warlord type character. It's like Obama, but he has like a fucking weird, Genghis Khan ponytail thing going on in the fucking back of his head, and he carries a big mace around. He's wearing like full non-faux fur. It just got really weird there in the office as far as character design. I really couldn't. I didn't want to be a part of the future of that. That's not what I wanted to bring to a game that I cared so passionately about. Now, even though I wasn't working on World of Warcraft anymore, I still had a passion for the game. I spent time working on it. I spent a lot of time playing it. I still spend a lot of time playing it. And they're definitely crushing the game and the lore in the next expansion. You'll half be getting what you want, half not be getting what you want. The beginning of the expansion will start trying to combat the Void Lords, and you guys are right in the prediction that Sargeras will be released. We will have to team up with him to stop the Void Lords. That's where things take a turn. Shortly after we release Sargeras, and I won't spoil the whole expansion for you, but you realize we shouldn't have let Sargeras out. He's a weird fuck. Basically, he goes straight to Pandaria, marches up to Chen Stormstout, and this guy's fucking huge. I mean, you saw him stab Azeroth. He's a big dude. And you know how Blizzard likes pop culture memes? They add like Game of Thrones references to Death Knight fucking talents and shit. Whether or not, even if you don't, they like to incorporate a lot of pop culture into their game. And they definitely liked the Ant-Man and Thanos' ass meme too much. Because they literally have a cinematic of Sargeras grabbing Chen Stormstout. And you get a little vor scene where you can see that he's lifting Chen Stormstout up into his ass. And there's just this like zoom in on Chen's face where he's just like... And that's how Chen Stormstout dies. And from there on, he like contaminates the Pandaren with Fel. So basically this expansion is just pretty much what nobody wanted. And it's Return to Pandaria. Let's continue dealing with Sargeras. And that's just a nightmare, man. I can't continue working for a company that's going to be putting out, content like that. That being said, I hope there's no bad blood between me and the player base of any of these games. I hope you guys can forgive me for departing and no longer working with the team. It was kind of fun while it lasted, I guess. But we're hoping we can all just move forward from this, move forward from controversy, and hopefully Blizzard can get their act together. I know I've gotten my act together since leaving, and I'm out here looking for new employment. So that being said, that's why I left Blizzard. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope I brought a little more insight to you on some things that happened behind the scenes, potentially happened behind the scenes at Blizzard Entertainment. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. You enjoy the rest of your day.